Welcome to Girl Choose Yourself, where we're trading self-doubt for self-trust and settling for soaring. I'm Eimear, your host, and together we're building the confidence to create lives so deliciously bold that they scare us a little, but in the best possible way. Because life's too precious to stay cozy in our comfort zones. It's time to choose ourselves for lives that are fabulous and soulfully fulfilling. So let's go. Hi, and welcome to this episode. I'm so happy to have you here with me again this week, or if you found me for the very first time, welcome. This week we're really getting under the hood, so to speak, because I feel, we can be doing a lot of work in personal development. We can be reading lots of books, exposing ourselves to great podcasts, writing affirmations and really telling ourselves that we should feel certain things like calm, confident, capable. But if our nervous system is stuck in a state of survival, then none of that messaging and none of that work is really going to land as powerfully as it might to be able to affect the kind of changes that we want to see in our lives. So it's not that we're not trying hard enough, obviously many times, and it's not that we're not motivated and that we don't want change and that we're not prepared to, put in the work to achieve that. It's because we're dysregulated. And when that happens, it's nearly impossible. It's nearly impossible to access the part of us that's grounded, that's clear, that's creative, that's courageous. That part of us that knows, what they really want. And that part can take powerful action and really bring about incredible change in our lives. But if we're dysregulated, it's really hard to access it. So in this episode, I want to give you 5 tools that are simple, body-based tools that help you shift your state in the moment. Tools that you can use when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling shut down, when you're feeling overwhelmed, lethargic, frozen in indecision. And we all have those feeling states. And it doesn't matter if you're out there on social media and you see somebody who's maybe living the life that you want to live, who looks really wildly successful and, in a great relationship, and you want a great relationship, attracting a lot of abundance in their lives, and that's something that you want too, that no matter who it is, everybody will experience these states, and it's really helpful to have some proven tools to be able to state shift pretty quickly so that we don't find ourselves being entangled and oppressed by our nervous system states when we're feeling that. So these aren't hacks. It really is a sacred return. It's a sacred return, and they're grounded in real science. So let's talk about the science for a minute. Our nervous systems are constantly scanning our environments, and they're looking for cues of safety or danger. Really ancient wiring that you've probably heard about before, right? And the process is mostly unconscious. It happens through what's called our autonomic nervous system, and that's divided into 2 main branches. We have the sympathetic nervous system. That's that fight or flight system, right? And then there's the parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest. And it's not just an on-off switch. I came across the work of a gentleman called Dr. Stephen Porges several years ago now. And thanks to him, we now understand something called the polyvagal theory. And in the last few years, I'm seeing it kind of people mentioning this kind of everywhere, talking about the vagus nerve. And polyvagal theory maps how your vagus nerve, which is the longest cranial nerve in your body, and it plays a central role in regulation, connection, and even your voice and your facial expression. It's absolutely wild. And it runs from your brainstem all the way down into your gut. It influences things like your heart rate, your digestion, your immune function, and your ability to connect with others. And it's constantly asking this one question: am I safe? And when the answer to that question, am I safe, is yes, your system, your nervous system can settle. You can be present. You can listen, speak, create, lead. You can really tap into your very best self, your highest self. But when the answer to that question, am I safe, is no, and even subtly no, your system prepares to protect you. It's doing its job. And it does that by shutting down, speeding up, disconnecting, or freezing. There's another great piece of work in this area, and you may well have heard of this book. It's just like in the booksellers, top bestsellers charts forever. It's been out for years. It's called The Body Holds the Score, and it's by a gentleman called Bessel van der Kolk. And he explains in that book that the body remembers what the mind may have forgotten or tries to suppress. And we learned a lot about this in my studies for my mindfulness meditation teacher training program that I did with Jack Cornfield and Tara Brock and finished at the end of last year. And they brought in all of these experts in to talk to this subject. And Tara would always be saying, this little phrase that the issues are in the tissues. I love that. The issues are in the tissues. And, obviously we're not treating trauma in this conversation. That is a subject matter for licensed, qualified professionals. But many of us are walking around in bodies that are carrying old stories of vigilance and self-protection. That's really why these regulation tools matter, and they're really powerful and can be helpful to so many people. And they're not about calming down. Have you ever been sort of triggered, upset in some sort of reactivity cycle, and some well-meaning, or maybe not so well-meaning, person or friend who says, calm down, and you're like, oh wow, I never thought of that, thanks for sharing. Oh, it's the magic sort of fairy dust that makes my problem go away. So it's not about calming down, it's about coming home to yourself, so you can choose your response rather than being hijacked by your triggers and reactivity and whatever issues are in the tissues. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through 5 of my favorite nervous system reset tools. They're tools I use myself, I share with clients, and I recommend them to anyone who's ever struggled to, sit still, focus, show up, or speak up. Anyone who gets, very anxious before big moments, these can be really, really helpful. And if you've ever tried to meditate but found yourself flooded with emotion, you're anxious or you just can't sit with it, these tools may serve you well as sort of an on-ramp to a meditation practice. They give the system what it needs first so that deep presence can become possible for you. So let's dive in. So our first tool number 1, is the VOO sound. So this is where we begin, because you can't ground yourself without first tuning into your body. So what is it? So you take a deep, full inhale into your belly and chest, and then on the exhale, you release a long, deep sound, VOO. So like this. So you're like, so it's like a foghorn. It's really from deep in your gut, and it sort of feels like it's simmering, vibrating through your chest, your throat, your face, even the belly as you give that full exhale. And here's the science bit. This activates the all-important vagus nerve, that longest cranial nerve. And it's the main highway of your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's sort of rest and digest, or rest and restore, if you prefer, command center. And by vibrating the vocal cords and the throat, that voo sound sends a powerful safety signal up and down that vagus nerve. And you're instantly telling your body, we're okay. Like we're safe. And as I've said before, grounded in solid science. From Dr. Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory to somatic teacher Peter Levine, you may have heard of him. Just great, does a lot of work in the area of trauma. And then to pioneers like Bessel van der Kolk, the Body Keeps the Score author. They're all showing that the body literally carries stress. And we have to speak the body's language to shift the state. We can't talk ourselves out of it. We need to speak the body's language. And vibrations are that language, really turning down that stress hormone, the cortisol, activating soothing neural networks and bringing you back online, really, because you're hijacked when you're in a reactive state. So this brings you back online. So how to do it? It's just like I said, it's take a slow, deep inhale, and as you exhale, you're releasing a sustained voo. Give that full exhalation like you heard me do, and then you kind of rest for a beat, and then you do it again. And I like to do it for 5 times. 3 to 5 is great. And that's it. Just doing it once, I noticed there already the body is beginning to lean back into a calmer state. So you'll feel your jaw soften. So many of us carry tension there. You'll feel your chest release. For me, it's like I hold a lot of stress in my shoulders, and I feel those, releasing and dropping down. And the clarity and the focus returning to your thinking. When to use, you're heading into the big meeting, you're heading into the interview, you're preparing to speak, you're giving the presentation, or maybe you're speaking at an event. You wake up in the morning and you're feeling a little bit tense or, a little bit out of sorts, that it just brings you home to yourself. So try that one and let me know how you get on. Tool number 2 is deceptively simple, and it's called orienting and naming. It's like simple but profoundly effective, I find, especially in moments when you feel pulled into overwhelm, or those moments of a situation that triggers spiraling thoughts, and you're like, oh, here we go again. And this is just going to capture me and keep me entangled for a long period of time. So what is it? Pause and slowly turn your head. Say, turn to the left and start visually scanning your environment, wherever you are, and pull out 3 to 5 objects and quietly name them out loud or in your mind, depending on your environment. Like, that's a plant, a green bottle, a blue mug, black jacket. That's just me in my environment right now. Why does it matter? This practice taps into your orienting response, which is the brain's built-in safety check. So when you actively name external stimuli, you're telling your autonomic nervous system, you're telling that system, right now, I'm here. Right now, I'm safe. It's that all-important message. And this interrupts the internal chaos. Those spinning thoughts or the emotional overwhelm. And it brings us back into all-important present time awareness. What is here? What is now? And think of it like as the biological equivalent of a reset button. So that this simple anchor can help shift you from reaction to presence in seconds. And it's another way to speak your body's language, offering visible information that safety exists outside, so you can relax inside. So how to do it? Anytime, anywhere. Pause your activity when you sense these feelings of overwhelm, spiraling thoughts. Take an in-breath. Let your eyes slowly scan the room or space and mentally or softly name out loud 3 to 5 things you see. Chair, light, notebook, tree, mug, whatever from your environment in that moment. Take another breath and then continue. And even doing it once decreases the stress hormone activation. It increases your clarity, your ability to focus, and brings you back into that all-important, grounded, connected state. Okay, when to use it? I find this is really useful before a emotionally charged conversation. Or if you find yourself waking up at night with worry and spiraling thoughts, this is a good one to try, orienting and naming. And when your mind starts racing, anytime actually that you're feeling untethered, and obviously depending on context, you can name the objects softly out loud. And if you're in an environment where that doesn't feel comfortable or appropriate for you, you can just scan your environment and name them internally. Okay, number 3. Tool number 3 is the butterfly hug. So it's a gentle, rhythmic method, and it offers a really powerful combination, I think, of self-soothing and a nervous system reset. So what is it? You simply cross your arms over your chest so that your hands rest on your shoulders. Just do that right now if you're not driving. Or if you're just listening to this somewhere, you can do this. Just crossing your hands over your chest so that your hands rest on your shoulders or your upper arms. And then with soft alternating taps, let your left hand taps the right shoulder, your right hand is tapping your left shoulder. You just create this comforting, soothing, bilateral pattern. The bilateral hug, the butterfly hug, uses this bilateral stimulation, which is a method that's rooted in trauma therapy and integrative neuroscience. And Bessel van der Kolk explains this really well in his book, The Body Keeps the Score, that these bilateral rhythms help bridge the left and right hemispheres of the brain. And then they promote calm and this feeling of internal safety and lift the intensity of emotional arousal. And in the work again of Dr. Stephen Porges from the polyvagal theory that I mentioned earlier, his work further supports this, that this rhythmic bilateral input calms the autonomic nervous system, signals safety and co-regulation, and each gentle tap is like saying, "You're safe, I'm with you," and we're speaking the body's language again. We're literally grounding emotional distress. So deeply somatic tool. You're not just thinking, "I'm okay." You're feeling it in your tissues and in your nervous system. And that is really what lasting regulation requires. So how to do it anywhere. I can do this, in public because it's just so easy. Some people cross their arms. You just happen to have your arms in a slightly different position. You're crossing your arms over your chest, hands resting on opposite shoulders or upper arms. You can close your eyes or just soften your gaze again if you're in public, and that's more appropriate. And you just begin tapping rhythmically, left to right, about 1%, 1 tap per second. You'll find the rhythm that just feels right and comforting and self-soothing. And you continue for 20 seconds to a minute, as long as it feels soothing. And then you take a deep breath and notice how your body and mind have shifted. It's really good to check in afterwards what's changed. So when to use it? Whenever you're feeling any sense of overwhelm, feeling emotionally flooded, feeling anxious, or you just feel like you need a moment to connect into that sense of internal safety. Okay, tool number 4. Maybe not so easy to do in public, this one. And you're going to know why very shortly when I name it. Tool number 4 is called somatic shaking. So this is a deep body-led practice, and it releases built-up tension and moves you out of freeze or numb states and brings you back online, really, with a renewed sense of grounded presence. So what is it? You stand or sit if that's necessary or more comfortable for you in a grounded position. So your feet would be your legs uncrossed and your feet on the ground if you were in a chair. And standing, I typically do it standing, and you begin to gently shake your limbs. You might start with your arms and just begin to shake them out, just gently shaking them. There's no wrong way to do it. And then your legs. And I find what I do is I'm just moving from leg to leg, and as I lift the leg off the ground, I just shake it a little bit, and you move into the whole body. And it's a very organic, natural process or practice, no specific rhythm. Nobody's watching you generally, and you just allow your body to express whatever it needs for 30 to 60 seconds. God, we're so often in performance mode of trying to look and be a certain way or not draw attention to ourselves, or definitely not the inverted commas wrong type of attention. I've done this one a lot, and I find it really useful and helpful. This somatic shaping just taps into an innate biological process, the one animals use to release stress and trauma after a threat has passed. When you think, if you've ever seen, I saw somebody talking about this, it might have been Bessel van der Kolk actually in my classes for the mindfulness meditation, talking about if you've ever seen like ducks on a pond, and they might get into some little altercation, and then as the ducks would leave that altercation, you'll see them sort of flapping their wings and sort of shaking off what just happened. Like they're not carrying that story of that interaction 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 years, 5 decades later. They literally are involved in somatic shaking. They're kind of shaking it off. I won't burst into Taylor Swift sounds, but that just made me think of it. So it's really this, your body's shaking it out, discharging the excess energy and, unlocking you from those frozen states. Yeah, it's drawn from clinical practices. This method aligns with, the work of psychologist Peter Levine. It builds on Dr. Porges's polyvagal theory work. And, it really re-engages your sympathetic and ventral vagal systems, apparently. And in essence, you're telling your nervous system, you're sending a message to your nervous system in this really important language of the body. It's over, I'm safe now. It's over, I'm safe now. And you're offering, a pathway back into this felt sense of recovery and safety and grounded activation. I'm kind of like so excited about all this because I find it hugely, hugely beneficial. And the fact that you can do these tools, you can do these practices, use these tools and get a change in state very quickly and come back home to yourself and begin to be able to bring your best self to that moment then, rather than being hijacked for long periods of time. So again, how to do it? I prefer to do it in private, but you do you. I do it typically standing up, normally feet hip distance apart with my knees soft. And some people begin with their arms and just let them move and shake loosely for 15 to 30 seconds, and then add your legs. And I typically, adding legs, just start alternating my weight from one leg to the other, just lifting up the leg that isn't holding the weight, and then beginning to shake out the leg that's held, and just let your whole body then get into it if it feels good. And then I can sort of move it to where I'm swaying my arms from one side to the other, and so that they're kind of gently kind of hitting my hips and my back as well. Just whatever feels good for you, and continuing for up to a minute or until you feel a release. And then pause and breathe and kind of again check in and notice how the energy has shifted and how you feel after this short practice. So when to use it, I think it's especially powerful when, for me, here's when I use it. I use it after difficult interactions. If I feel like I'm going to hang on to this conversation, I'm going to hang on to this interaction, and it's unhealthy for me, that's the top time I use this. But it's useful in so many areas. You've just been sitting for too long. You've been sitting for too long. How many of us do that? Or you're just feeling a bit flat and disconnected. And, you might be tempted to pick up your phone and start scrolling. Don't do that. We've all done that. Try this instead. Or maybe you've just suddenly tensed up in reaction to stress. And think about those ducks leaving the interaction. You need to shake it off. So really powerful. Try it if it feels right for you. Okay, final tool. Tool number 5 is called polyvagal touch. So this is a deeply co-regulating practice that helps your nervous system feel safe, supported, and soothed from the inside out. So what is it? You place one hand gently on your chest, over your heart, and the other on your belly. Or you might choose to put your hands on your cheeks. I prefer heart belly. And you apply a soft, comforting pressure. Imagine that you're offering a loving invitation of safety, of presence to yourself. Why this practice helps? It really taps into co-regulation, which is the principle that nervous systems respond deeply to physical warmth and gentle contact. And Porges, in his polyvagal theory, highlights how gentle touch, especially over the heart and core areas, which is why I always prefer the heart and belly, that activates the ventral vagal pathway, signaling I'm here, I'm safe. So by placing your hands on your body, you're not just giving intellectual reassurance like I'll be okay, toughen up, it's going to be okay. You're nourishing your physiological sense of belonging and safety. It's just so powerful. And it isn't wishful thinking, it's really embodied somatic science. And in Van der Kolk, it talks about this in The Body Keeps the Score. You're going to buy that book now because I keep mentioning it. It's a much easier read, by the way, than polyvagal theory, so I would start there. So what he says in The Body Keeps the Score is he really emphasizes the critical role of safe touch and connection in rewiring the nervous system. Polyvagal touch is an accessible way, a really easy and accessible way to bring that warmth and that safety home to yourself. And who doesn't want to feel that with all that's going on in the world? I know I find it powerful. I hope this is connecting with and for you. So how to do it, just place your right hand gently over your heart, left hand on your belly, or alternate with the cheek if that feels more comforting. You know what's right for you. Closing your eyes or softening your gaze and breathing slowly and noticing how the contact feels. That warm, steady anchoring. And stay there for like 30 seconds, a minute, and repeating maybe quietly to yourself, I'm safe, I'm here. Whatever that message is within that umbrella theme of safety and okayness that resonates most for you. So use it before the big meeting, the big moment, in transitions, in moments where you feel disconnected, or whenever your system just feels tense or flooded. When you begin to use these tools, you begin to know that, this is what I need right now. So, quick reset on what I've shared this week. 5 powerful nervous system reset tools. The first one was that VOO sound. Purpose, activating the vagus nerve with vibration, restoring calm and clarity, right? The second one, orienting and naming, reconnecting your brain to the present moment, interrupting feelings of overwhelm. Our third tool today, the butterfly hug, that bilateral touch that soothes by creating a sense of internal safety. And then we did the maybe we're only ever going to do it in private. Fourth tool, somatic shaking, releasing that trapped stress and, reviving a grounded present state. Just think of the ducks. And the fifth one that we just spoke about, polyvagal touch, heart, belly, that co-regulates through comforting, nurturing contact. So these tools aren't about fixing you. You're bloody amazing. They're really about returning to you, to presence, to this sovereignty, confidence and compassion, making space for the parts of you that know exactly what to do and how to say it. We're looking at accessing those, and we need a regulated nervous system to do that. We don't want to be hijacked by anxiety, numbness, or overwhelm. Okay, so bringing this episode to a close now, I just want you, or invite you to remember, you don't need to be on all the time. You don't need to force confidence or push through when your system is screaming for safety. What you do need is a way to come back to yourself. And that's what I've tried to help you with this week with these tools. They're not about performing calm. If you've been listening to me and been in my world for a little while, you know that I can't stand messaging around fake it till you make it. This is not about performance. This is about accessing your true power, the kind that lives below the surface of the noise, beneath the shoulds, and under the armor that we so often wear. These 5 practices are just the beginning. Maybe you found something, you've heard something in what I've said that you think, oh, that's for me, I'm going to try that. But I like to over-deliver. So I've put together a free guide, your nervous system reset toolkit, with 15 of the most powerful regulation tools that I have come across in my training and that I use with my clients and in my own life and in my work as a meditation teacher and coach. And I hope you love them. And if you're ready to stop the spinning, the overthinking and the shrinking and the shutting down, and you're ready to lead yourself differently, this guide will give you a place to begin. So you can download it now. It's in the show notes. And remember this, you don't have to wait for life to settle before you begin to rise. We all know the conditions are always impossible. I saw that quote. The conditions are always impossible. We can't wait until the conditions are super inviting for us to rise. The time is always, I feel, now. It's always now. You just need the tools to meet yourself right here and right now. I hope this has been of value to you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. And I will see you next time. You're awesome. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning into the episode this week. I hope you got a lot out of it. And if you did, please share it with somebody who you feel would benefit. And leave a review. Always greatly appreciated. Lots of free and paid resources to take things a step further. You can find those in the show notes. And hey, if nobody has told you this yet today, you are amazing. And the world is a far more beautiful place because you're here with us all. Stay cool. Bye.